Is it their eyes? Their fur? Or simply, their moves? No matter what it is, face it, they're irresistible. It's time to catch up with some of the freshest faces that we share our world with. From sunrise to sunset, be immersed in their lives. Mingle with these youngsters and get to know them and their families better. Experience all the hustle and bustle of their daily routines, all while getting up close to these baby animals in our world. Our day is being spent in some of the world's zoos, getting up close and personal with the babies that call them home. Coming up, tag along with a litter of wildcat kittens as they embark on their first outdoor adventure. Plus, get set for a great time with these great apes. In this playground, chimpanzee babies ride for free. What a bonus! And speaking of bonuses, this zoo is proud to welcome some new cubs. It's hard not to fall for such a playful bunch. In the early beginnings of zoos, things were fairly simple. They were nothing more than a collection of basic housing facilities for the assortment of creatures on display. But today, their role in the modern world has evolved. Breeding programs, thoughtfully designed exhibits, and extensive education programs have created opportunities for the public to take home more than just a few happy snaps of their favorite exotic species. By learning about the animals in our world, we can gain a greater appreciation for their needs. From understanding the importance of conserving habitat, the impact of expanding urbanization, and how our actions at home can affect wildlife in theirs. Unlike a school or university, zoos have the unique opportunity to make a strong impact on their visitors by allowing them to come face to face with animals that they have never had the chance to see before. Personal encounters like this can spark an interest that can lead to a lifelong fascination about the natural world. One of the most surefire ways to grab someone's attention is to let them fall in love with one of the many youngsters that call zoos home. Prepare to swoon as we go in search of even more zoo babies. It's the beginning of another bright and sunny day in zoos worldwide. No doubt, with many visitors on their way to the front gates, the baby animals are starting to warm up. Some early risers are already out for their morning walk. Here's a troop that prefers to stick together early in the day. There's a set of tamarin eyes pointing in every direction. One of them has to move sooner or later. A friendly pair of meerkats are also slow to get moving. Finally, they're up. Or maybe not. Some animals just don't like mornings. One of the chimp babies is wide-eyed and raring to go, but getting up can be so hard. Surprisingly, it's the koalas that are most active so far. For an animal that sleeps up to 20 hours a day, that's impressive. Here's a handy move, the reverse branch walk. Looks like this Joey is in for a rough ride. The early morning energy appears to be spreading. The wolf pups have emerged from their warm den. And a drowsy panda has decided to make its way down. Very carefully, of course. There is one animal that is still resisting. Waking up a fully grown male lion sounds like a really bad idea. But to the cubs, he's just Dad. And it's time for him to get out of bed. He's putting up a good fight, but he is outnumbered. Success! The reward for waking up? A hearty breakfast. Good thing too, as zoo babies are always peckish in the morning. There's a tasty treasure hunt underway in the meerkat exhibit. And mealworms are the gold. These crunchy treats are small, but there's plenty to go around. You just have to be quick to grab the best ones. Others have no competition and are able to chew at a more leisurely pace. This panda cub is surrounded by bamboo, but the piece it wants is in its mother's paws. Maybe next time. Bamboo is always on the menu for pandas, making up around 99% of their diet. Due to the low nutritional value of bamboo, adult pandas need to eat up to 38 kilograms per day. Speaking of big eaters at the zoo, there's one group of mammals that really know how to fill their plate. Mature Asian elephants can eat upwards of 60 kilograms of food a day. As herbivores, these gentle giants munch on hay, fruit, vegetables, and leaves. This baby elephant really knows how to serve itself a faceful. Here's another animal that likes to dive headfirst into breakfast. The only food this hand-raised cub is interested in is milk, and as much as possible. These older lion cubs are after meat, but there's only one piece left. Dad's tail is a risky, yet tasty alternative. After a healthy breakfast, the zoo animals are on the move. There are so many adventures to be had for growing babies. Koalas live relatively simple lives, but there are still lessons for the youngsters to learn. By observing the behavior of their mothers, koala joeys learn how to negotiate tree branches. Sloth babies have a similar experience. The pace is just that little bit slower. Their claws are perfectly designed for hanging onto tree branches, but can be a bit cumbersome when trying to pluck out a single leaf. This could take a while. Down on ground level, a baby elephant is discovering the wonders of having a trunk. Calves take some time getting used to these unusual appendages. Sometimes they can even stand on them by mistake. While Mom is bobbing for apples, this baby is making a splash. celebrating its trunk skills with a refreshing drink. It's time to check out the family album. First up is the second tallest bird in the world, native to Australia, the quirky and curious emu. Females can lay up to 15 large, green, glossy eggs over the course of a few days in a grassy nest. Next, the dads take over, incubating the eggs for 2 months. When the hatchlings emerge, they stand at 25 centimetres tall. While their streaked feathers give them excellent camouflage, they could also double as racing stripes. Emu dads play a large role in the lives of their offspring, watching over them for the first 8 months. As chicks, they gain 1 kilo a week, and by the time they are fully grown, these flightless birds can weigh up to 45 kilograms and stand just under 2 meters tall. They may not be able to fly, but those legs can run. Emus are known to clock speeds of about 48 kilometers an hour. In captivity, these large feathered favourites can live for up to 40 years. Next are some Amazonian primates, rocking some seriously punk haircuts. Cotton-top tamarins. After a 4 to 5 month gestation period, females give birth to 1 or 2 babies. When it comes to parenting, it's common for these little tykes to be cared for by the entire troop. While the mother will nurse them, others will chip in to help carry them around or to give them a solid grooming. By 7 weeks of age, these babies are a lot more mobile and starting to taste test foods like fruit, vegetables, and insects. By 14 weeks of age, the free rides are over, and they're well on their way to becoming a regular part of the troop. Even as adults, these pint-sized primates are very light in weight, coming in at around 420 grams. Cotton-tops are highly agile, able to leap from branch to branch in search of food or to explore their surroundings. With approximately 6,000 remaining in the wild, cotton-tops are a critically endangered species. Zoos can play a big role in helping their plight by educating the public about these quirky and engaging creatures. These funky monkeys can live for an average of 13 years. It's that time of the morning when the zoo babies take some time out to take part in a daily ritual. Grooming. This langur baby is getting the once-over from Mum. By keeping her little one free from lice, she also lessens the chance of getting any herself. Some monkeys like to multitask during a clean-up. This golden lion tamarin is enjoying a stretch with its scratch, while a baby Japanese macaque is sneaking in a snack during its primping session. Here's a joey that knows how to scratch an itch. Koalas have a nifty add-on to help them comb through their hair. Their second and third toes on their hind paws are fused together, forming a special grooming claw. Speaking of claws, this sun bear certainly has a decent set. It even knows how to give itself a manicure. In terms of grooming, things are a little more chaotic over in a meerkat exhibit. There's a whole lot of scratching going on. This family really knows how to get rid of uninvited, pesky guests. Time to prowl around with a family of wildcats. These playful kitties certainly know how to put themselves right under Mum's paws. Native to Africa, Europe and southwestern Asia, wildcats are the ancestors of domestic cats. Their appearance is still strikingly similar. Zoogoers could be forgiven for assuming this enclosure is full of tabbies. These kittens are after milk, but Mum has other ideas. This piece of meat should do the trick. There's more than enough food for the whole litter, but this grouchy puss refuses to share the spoils. For animal babies in the wild, being a food hog can increase their chances of survival by getting more nutrients than their counterparts. In captivity, food is plentiful, but this baby isn't taking any chances. Let's leave this fine diner to enjoy its morning tea and catch up with the family again later. One group of animals that are bound to grab people's attention and anything else they can find are the chimpanzees. They fall in the category of great apes, which also includes gorillas, orangutans, bonobos, and humans. Found in various habitats across Western and Central Africa, chimpanzees are known for their high levels of intelligence and large social groups. For the most part, chimpanzee infants are reared by their mothers, providing them with the necessary warmth, food and protection, plus the opportunity to learn new skills. Chimp-back rides are another great bonus. This expedition even has meals provided. As social animals, chimpanzees will spend a large part of their day interacting with each other. Babies always spark an interest in other chimps, but Mum has to be protective to make sure her little one doesn't receive any rough treatment. As chimps get closer to adolescence, their mischievous side begins to emerge. Brandishing tree branches at the other members of the troop is a sure way to get attention. But taunting chimps that are bigger and tougher may be asking for too much trouble. Social order amongst chimpanzees is usually maintained with a firm hand. But if the young ones are clever, they will back down before receiving any discipline. Confident on the ground and in the trees, these athletic apes can readily access a wide range of foods. While greens make up the bulk of their diet, chimps will occasionally eat meat. With highly expressive faces and rambunctious personalities, these charismatic primates are a hit in any zoo. Not all zoo residents are as conspicuous as chimps, but their quieter natures don't make them any less fascinating. One such creature is the curiously unusual short-beaked echidna. These small, spiny mammals are native to Australia. In the animal kingdom, they fall into the unique monotreme category, mammals that lay eggs. They share this title with only one other species, the platypus. While certainly rare to see in the wild, what's even more mysterious is how they grow and develop. Here's a rare chance to witness their life story unfold. Female echidnas typically lay just one egg in their pouch, where it will remain for 10 days. Baby echidnas are known as puggles. Puggles start to get their spikes at around 50 days of age. Naturally, this is when the mother tends to move them from her pouch. For the next 5 months, the mother echidna will often leave the burrow in search of food, returning to nurse her offspring every few days. Eventually, she will dig her young out of the nesting area and emerge from the burrow with her more developed baby in tow. From this point on, it will be on its own. When it comes to foraging, short-beaked echidnas are big fans of ants and termites. Their stout little beaks and curved nails make the perfect digging tools to search through the undergrowth. To snatch up their prey, they flick out their sticky tongues. Their lickers can shoot out as far as 18 centimetres. These spiny anteaters can live for around 10 years in the wild, much longer in captivity. The morning's almost done. Time for a quick catch-up with the wildcat kittens. These mini felines are out and about, exploring. This exhibit makes the perfect playpen for these curious kitties, filled with lots of natural cat toys like old leaves, twigs, and logs. The razor-sharp focus and incredible reflexes normally associated with cats starts to develop during play sessions like this. They will eventually learn how to use their camouflage, walk softly, and become highly skilled in the art of the sneak attack. But all in good time. For now, these furry bundles seem perfectly content with a bit of rough and tumble under the watchful eyes of their mother. This morning's adventure has been fun, but for now, it's time to head back to the den. One way or another. It's now the hottest time of day, and for most of the zoo babies, this is a great excuse to take some time out. Large rocks warmed up by the sun are a hard but stable spot for little lion cubs to get a bit of shut-eye. After a dip in the pool, the Japanese macaque's wet fur will keep them nice and cool while they relax. It's too hot to chew on eucalyptus leaves right now. This baby's found a cosy napping position. Sandy beds are a comfy choice for the meerkats. There are so many snoozing options on offer, like the Pillow Buddy or the Twister. Always a popular choice for the more restless family members. It's been an adventurous morning packed with fun. But for now, all that's left to do is take a well-deserved siesta. The sun is high in the sky, and the zoo babies' energy levels are just as high. They're eager to get the afternoon going. Bring on playtime! The Blackbuck Antelopes love to get their long legs moving. Well, almost all of them. These goofballs don't need much encouragement to jump around, especially if it's on each other. Furry couches are very trendy in these parts. Over in this meerkat exhibit, something sparked a young pup's interest. A great noisy toy, a crunchy leaf. This explorer's in search of hidden gems of interest in amongst some rugged terrain. Whoops! It's determined to dig up some adventure. No matter how hard they try, some baby animals just can't get the grown-ups to join in the fun. Which is why brothers and sisters are the best playtime buddies. And now, the baby elephants are giving the fine art of piggybacking a try. It's always more fun to be the jockey. This pair are such crowd pleasers. Let's take a trek over to a lion exhibit where a battle royale is taking place. This afternoon, the tiniest kings and queens of the jungle have teamed up to take on a formidable opponent, Mum. These little big cats are crafty. Dad is next in their sights, but he's taking it easy on the cubs. At this size, they're far from intimidating. Wild lion cubs learn to hunt by watching other members of the pride, but play is useful for developing their skills and coordination. Here's a cub that doesn't need to ascend to the throne. It's already found its own. It's great to be the top cat. But the good times may be over already. There's a new challenger. Can these two share the prime position? Not for long. Who knew lions were such big fans of garden furniture? Lions are social animals, and to maintain a strong bond with other members of the pride, they will often rub their heads against each other and lick each other's fur. There is a difference between licking and chomping, though. Mum's tail is not chewing gum. This is better. These cheeky cubs will be up to mischief all afternoon. We'll check back in with them soon. With so many different species of animal in care, zoos have the tough job of designing appropriate homes for each one. Gibbons are arboreal, which means they spend the majority of their lives in trees. Naturally, they have been given their very own treehouse to reside in. A comfortable enclosure that allows animals to act out their natural behaviours helps to keep them relaxed while in captivity. Koalas know how to unwind. Much like the gibbons, although a lot slower, koalas feel safest while hanging onto tree branches. Up high, they can avoid most predators. But unfortunately, they can't escape the occasional rude neighbour. Elephant exhibits will often have an excess of dust and dirt, and they love it. Using their trunks, they will toss it into the air and onto their backs. These dust bars help to remove any pesky insects, while also providing some protection from the heat of the sun on a hot day. As highly intelligent animals, elephants require a lot of mental stimulation. Putting their food in hard-to-reach places can give them both a physical and mental test. A large boulder in the enclosure provides this baby elephant with a fun climbing challenge and the opportunity to be just that little bit taller. Meerkats also love getting a boost from a good-sized rock. More than just fun, it helps them fulfill an important role in the family, the lookout. If the other meerkats are foraging with their heads down, One meerkat will act as a sentry and alert the others if they spy a threat. By installing large objects in their exhibits, zoos give these furry watchtowers a few prime locations to carry out their very important job. It's time to open the family album this afternoon. First is an antelope from southern Africa, known for its striking fur patterns, the Nyala. After a gestation period of around 220 days, Nyala mothers are likely to have a single calf or sometimes twins. Nursing is done hidden away in thick grass. This helps to keep her little ones safe from other animals. In a zoo, this usually happens somewhere quiet and shady. After a few weeks, the calf will come out in the open and become part of the herd. To the untrained eye, male and female Nyala may appear to be separate species. Females have a rusty or rufous brown coat, whereas the males are dark brown or grey in coloration. Both the males and females have thin white stripes along their bodies, but the horns are exclusive to the gentlemen of the herd. Next is a rodent from Central and South America. But not just any rodent. These are the largest species in the world, the capybara. These animals love to swim, and romance usually occurs in the water. Around 6 months later, a pregnant female will find a quiet place to give birth to a single baby. It only takes about 3 or 4 days for little cappies to be up, moving around and starting to graze. All the females in the group will share the job of nursing the young, and this continues until they're about 16 weeks old. As rodents, capybara share a few traits with their smaller relatives. Their large chompers, better known as incisors, never stop growing. They use these teeth to graze on vegetation, both on land and in the water. Having no aversion to fresh greens, these water-loving rodents will happily eat more than 3 kilograms of grass per day. Capybara are rarely aggressive, happily sharing their spoils with other zoo animals that pop in to share a bite to eat. Zoos allow visitors to view animals from afar or up close. Sometimes, the experience gets taken a step further and hand feeding becomes an extra option. This kind of interaction between humans and animals creates a win-win situation for both parties. The animals get a quick treat, and the zoo goers are given a fun encounter to remember. But it's not all about the food. There are other perks to meeting new friends, like a head massage, or a free beauty treatment. This zoo star is having a photo session. Koalas with relaxed personalities are chosen for cuddly encounters like this. To make sure they don't get overstimulated, they only spend a brief amount of time in front of the cameras. Sometimes, zoos like to spread the word about new births or success stories. This will often involve a visit from local media. But wrangling a pair of wriggly platypus babies is not a simple task. Platypus are right at home in the water. So, everyone in! Its webbed feet help it zoom around the pool. These unusual Australian mammals rarely make an appearance during the day, so seeing them so active like this is a real treat. Looks like this young platypus is thoroughly enjoying having a close encounter with these two-legged visitors. And what's not to like when delicious snacks and belly rubs are on offer? Let's take an afternoon adventure down under and visit some of the more elusive residents of zoos. First, a small macropod known as the Bennett's Wallaby. This adventurous joey is just 6 months old. It'll continue to pop in and out of the pouch until it's 9 months old. Endemic to Australia, these charming marsupials can be found in a wide range of habitats. Sightings in the wild are rare, as these creatures hardly ever stray too far from cover. In captivity, a bit of zoo feed is the best way to entice these shy wallabies out of hiding. Even while enjoying a meal, it remains alert. If it needs to take off, its springy legs activate in a flash. Fast reflexes and a good sense of hearing make this wallaby very hard to sneak up on. One way to identify this species is to look at the fur on their neck. It should have a reddish tinge. This is how they got their other name, the red-necked wallaby. But to get close enough to know for sure, you have to be quiet, as these furry faces do not like surprises. The next elusive animal can be hard to find for another reason. Its ability to blend into its environment makes it very easy to miss. This is a 2-month-old knob-tailed gecko. This unusual-looking reptile is at home in the desert regions of Central Australia. Its rough, sandy-coloured skin is perfect for keeping a low profile in its hot and dry environment. While staying well camouflaged is a good way to avoid predators, these lizards still need to head out and explore if they're going to find something to eat themselves. A mixed diet of ants, spiders, crickets and other invertebrates would make a welcome snack for this desert dweller. In captivity, the best place to see these small geckos would be in a reptile house. But with eyes like that, they would probably see you first. Now to an animal you can't miss, the giant panda. These bamboo-loving bears, native to China, are easily distinguished by their black and white fur and big appetites. As an endangered species, they have been given special attention as a conservation icon. Although successful breeding attempts in zoos are notoriously difficult, when the magic does happen and new cubs arrive, they are immediately popular with staff and visitors alike. The engaging antics of giant pandas make them a joy to observe in any zoo. Despite having plenty of food and room to move, these monochrome babies always find something to argue about. Like which one gets the best spot on the log. There's bamboo everywhere, but of course, they both want the same piece. These two know how to share afternoon tea peacefully. Pandas will happily eat for up to 12 hours a day. Food hidden inside a ball provides a temporary challenge for this panda. But the peace is short-lived. Up on the platforms outside, it's a panda showdown. This bear wrestle looks to be taking place on every floor. Bamboo is said to have low nutritional value, but these two certainly aren't running out of energy. younger cubs are behaving themselves a little better. Another unmistakable species often found in zoos are flamingos. These tall, graceful birds are well known for their rosy pink feathers, the result of high amounts of the pigment beta-carotene in their diet. But these birds aren't always in the pink. Things are very different at the start of their lives. Females typically lay one egg, which is incubated for around 30 days by both lanky-legged parents. When they hatch, flamingo chicks usually have a coat of grey or white down, with a straight red bill. Their legs, by comparison to their parents, are short and plump. This one seems to have the art of preening down pat, although it's still a little wobbly on its feet. At 10 days of age, their legs and bills will have turned black. Like most good parents, flamingos will keep a close eye on their chick, being able to recognize them from their vocalizations. Unlike some animals, flamingo parents don't share the love. They will only feed their own offspring. After 11 weeks, the chicks will begin to grow their flight feathers and their bills will start to form a hook, which allows the chick to feed itself. Their lovely pink feathers will gradually develop their famous blush over a 2 to 3 year period. Due to their unique appearance and calm nature, flamingos are popular with zoo visitors. In captivity, it's common for these birds to have a little less coloration than their wild counterparts. To get the same pink vibrancy, zookeepers supplement their diets with meals high in carotenoids. These exquisite birds can spend 25 to 30 years gracefully wading the waters. Back in the lion exhibit, the cubs of the pride are expending their remaining energy before the afternoon comes to a close. It's a surprise attack from above. In this setting, there are plenty of siblings around to test some new moves on. Even an innocent tree branch cannot escape the clutches of a playful cub looking for something to chew on. It may not be edible, but for practice, it's good enough. Lions aren't as adept at climbing as some of the other big cats, but this cub is happy to give it a go. By the state of that tree, it's not the first time. One of the other cubs has chosen to wrestle with a leafy opponent instead. And by the looks of things, the branch is winning. The cubs must have declared a war on trees. This one is being actively debarked. But this assault is short-lived. Rule number 1, when doing anything around lion cubs, always watch your tail. Self-defense from this position is a precarious affair. It seems mischief and games go hand in hand when cubs are around. These babies have had an action-packed afternoon. They have way too much energy, even for the king of the pride. But little lion fuel does run out eventually. And for tails and trees everywhere. That's a good thing. Every day, the baby animals in zoos inspire entertain and educate the appreciative crowds that walk through the front gates. It may seem like a big job, but these youngsters take it in their stride. As the sun's remaining light begins to fade, it's time for small bodies to get comfortable and prepare for a good night's rest. These lynx kittens are great bedtime buddies, snuggled up and ready to snooze. By comparison, the Meerkat family appear a little disorganized. They're not doing so well out in the open, but progress is being made under a cozy log. A Japanese macaque mother has a fluffy coat of hair for her baby to nuzzle into. While wolves are nocturnal creatures, there's just not a lot happening this late in the afternoon. So, what better excuse to curl up and have a little nap? The capybaras have taken their final swims and chewed all the grass they can handle. A spot in the sand is the perfect place for them to drift off. 3 is usually a crowd, but it's working out well for this bunch of joeys. A cozy koala sandwich will keep these sleepy marsupials warm. After another exciting, fun-filled day, it's time to farewell the zoo babies and bid them good night.